Hi there, this is Love Johar. Thank you so much for tuning in this video and thank you so much for watching this channel. Here today we will actually understand how to perform the risk assessment. Okay, so I have created this table for you. So we will start with each and everything in this table, how I have created this table so that you can also perform risk assessment, right? So it's a small example. If you want to know more, definitely you can have my number below. You can join my trainings where I completely teach you how to perform this exercise, from the starting. So the first thing that we have is a risk ID. Okay, now you might be thinking why we need a risk ID. Risk ID is very important because let's say as an organization you have a lot of risk. For example, number of risks are there. So once you go for risk treatment and further up, you need to have this risk ID. It will be a very handy risk ID for you. You can refer to this risk ID in any of the other documents as well. That's why you must have a risk ID. Okay, it's very important for each and every risk. You need to have a risk ID. Okay, then after that you have the asset. Okay, asset is anything that has value for the organization. So here in this case we have summarized some of the assets here. The first asset that we have is a server. Then we have a database as an asset. Then we have network router, then laptop. Okay, accordingly these are the assets that you can figure out for your own organization and list out the assets over here. Okay, so if we have the server as the asset, then what could be the threat? Simply threat could be hardware failure because it's a piece of hardware. Server is a piece of hardware, and then definitely it can fail, right? And vulnerability would be aging equipment. If it's an old server, old piece of hardware, definitely it can fail, right? So this is the risk: server failure leading to data loss. And for the organization, this is the risk that we have. And the likelihood of happening is 4 because it's an old server, and impact is 5 because it contains a lot of highly sensitive data. So that's why the inherent risk score in this case comes at 20. So inherent risk score calculation is simple: multiplication of likelihood into impact is the calculation of the risk score. Why we call it as an inherent risk score is because there is no control applicable as of now. Okay, that's why it's a pure risk assessment that I have laid out for you without any controls. The first risk score that we get is called the inherent risk score. Okay, so afterwards I will be producing another video. If you like this video, if you share this video, I will definitely create one more video where I will show you after this how we do the risk treatment as well and how we get the residual risk as well. Okay, but first you need to share this video as much as possible if you get value out of it, and definitely share this with your friends as well so that they can get the most out of it. Now second asset that we have is a database. Okay, database is a very important piece of hardware again. So threat is unauthorized access. Okay, vulnerability could be weak access controls in the database, and risk description is data breach compromising sensitive information inside the database, in the database, right? So again, likelihood of happening is 3 here because database might be contained in some sort of a not direct access of the database. So that's why likelihood is 3, and impact here is 4 because again it has a very high sensitive data. So inherent risk score becomes 12 in this case. Okay, so the way how you actually identify the likelihood is very simple. You keep on understanding the probability of this threat happening. Okay, what is the probability of this threat actually happening and exploiting the vulnerability? This is how you calculate the likelihood, right? And the impact is nothing but what type of data does it have. Okay, what type of data does this laptop have would actually have the impact. For example, if this laptop belongs to the CEO, definitely the impact will be higher, right? If the laptop belongs to somebody who is not as critical, then definitely impact will not be as much higher, right? So you got the idea. I think the likelihood will be depending upon the amount of the possibility of the threat exploiting the vulnerability. How much is the possibility for that? That will define your likelihood score, and the impact score will be defined by what sort of data does this asset hold. Okay, what sort of criticality of the data does this asset hold? How much data is this critical? Who is the person who is this asset belongs to? These are the factors that will help you in deciding the impact value. Okay, so then you can calculate the inherent risk score, which is very simple. You just multiply the likelihood into impact and you get the inherent risk score. Okay, It's a very simple risk register. Okay, you study this risk register, and I can take one more example where we have a backup drive, okay, as the asset, and the threat is data corruption, and the vulnerability is unverified backups, because of the data corruption you now have unverified backups, okay. And the risk is backup drive corruption causing loss of critical files, okay. Then now in this case you have likelihood as 3 and impact as 4, and the inherent risk score as 12, okay. Depending upon what sort of backup is there, again, okay, depending upon what sort of backup is there, you define the impact value, and depending upon how much is the probability of data corruption happening, whether it's happening every day, whether it happen once in a year, you define the likelihood, okay. So this is how you actually do this exercise of risk assessment. This is end-to-end risk assessment that you see in front of you, okay. And after that, if you like this video, if you share this video, definitely I'll come up with another video where I will show you how you perform the risk treatment as well, okay. So again, this is the inherent risk score, okay. And this is why, because it is the risk score without applying any of the controls in place, okay. That's why it is called as inherent risk score. Many people do a mistake here, they simply put it as a risk score, which is wrong practice, okay. It is not a right practice. You should put this score as a inherent risk score always, okay. Again, any questions on this video, any follow-up questions, if you want, please feel free to ask me. And if you like this video, definitely share on the comments and share with your friends as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.